corner back spot, while Tiernan McCann is at right half. Colm Cavanagh has recovered from a quad muscle injury, while older brother Sean captains the team from centre half forward. Meanwhile, Down welcome back Aidan Carr and Conor Garvey to their half-back line, both of whom missed last year's championship because of injury. Conor McGinn is also back in the fray at wing forward, part of an attack which includes Benny Coulter, 15 years after his Ulster debut. Taking his time about it. Can he get the accuracy here now? There'll be no question about the power. Hits it beautifully over. Good start for him and for Tyrone.
Yeah, I think the Down crowd were getting quite impatient with him taking that. He certainly takes enough time over.
In a game, that's the best part of 2 minutes, at least, if not more, used up. Peter Hart. Mark Donnelly back again towards Hart. There we go, Tyrone player slipping away from the challenge, which is a poor one. Turley after him as well there. Was the other Down wing forward. Niall McKenna now. Trying to slip it back here. Eventually Sean Cavanagh taking control of the situation, and a beautiful point from play by Sean Cavanagh. What a great performer he's been over the last 10 years for Tyrone.
And as both Cavanagh's actually taking control of the game at the moment, you're certainly Colm from the middle of the park and Sean around the half forward line and really kicking a great score.
Man to aim at up there, and that's Medine. And a tangle of legs there with Danny McBride. 20 metres out, could hardly have missed and doesn't. So Down get their opening score of this match just after 6 minutes of play. They needed that.
Yeah, and their opening attack as well, and they've won out.
Back to McKernan. Nice ball down here. Comes as far as Donald O'Hare. Tries to step inside. Back out again from Barry Tierney. And that final shot's a poor one. He should have the better of that tussle with Barry Tierney based on past experiences, but you never know.
You could really carry that ball a little bit further, Jerry. You don't shoot from there when you're standing. You need to get a little bit of momentum behind the ball in which you go.
McCurry hitting, and McCurry putting it right over. 1 from 1 so far for Niall Morgan from St Malachy's club in Eden Dork. Again taking his time, and again the Down fans get at him, just as Donegal fans did last year. And the referee eventually looks like he's telling him, no more of that, you haven't got all day. Well, it's a 45.
Well, he's actually moved the ball in and given a free, and I think it's because Conor Laverty wasn't setting back enough from the ball.
He's supposed to be 13 metres back, clearly wasn't. On the other hand, you could make a case that Niall Morgan was taking an awful long time over it. So Sean Cavanagh's decided to hit it from his hand. Straight over. 2 from 2 for Donald O'Hare. Tyrone ball, and it'll be Sean Cavanagh who will take it. 2 points ahead, 23 minutes gone, as you can see. Dangerously in. Mark Donnelly on the ground, taken down by Conor McGinn, and the referee points to the penalty.
I think Conor McGinn was expecting the advantage there. He didn't get it, but he certainly got the penalty and an opportunity for Tyrone to nail their colours to the mast in the first half.
Well, it was Mark Donnelly who got in there, in over Peter Turley. And then it was Conor McGinn who made up for the fact that Turley didn't get to the ball. Hauled down Mark Donnelly. And a penalty to Tyrone. And it's going to be Peter against Brendan McVeigh. Peter Hart does well. 25 minutes are gone now. And that was emphatic.
Yeah, Jared, that situation was really badly handled by the Down defence. There was actually 2 defenders, 1 attacker and a goalkeeper, and indecisiveness between the 3 of them led to that penalty.
Kicking this one. One for McKernan to judge the bounce. Does well. Gets it down here as far as Medine. Ready to take on McBride. Kicked in. Good high ball inside this time. Laverty turning it back into Ambrose Rogers, and they needed that. Finally, a score from play for Down from Ambrose Rogers, the man who was unlucky to miss the 2010 All-Ireland final. He was captain that year, but he's got their first point from play this afternoon and made it 1-4 to 3 points, and that's a bit more like it.
Yeah, and well set.
Conor McGinn. Peter Turley now. Oh, the handling error again. Passing poor. And Tyrone counter up to Kyle Coney. That Tom Carr was talking about moments ago here, causing a bother for Dan McCartan, getting it on his right, and that is meat. First of the day for Kyle Coney, only his eighth ever championship score. Well, this was worth waiting for here. Looked to be really in a corner here, in a bind, but he managed to get himself out of it.
In fairness, they did have most of the possession in that first half, and also the other stat maybe to have a look at there in terms of the scoring chances converted from play for Down, just the one score from play, and that's a disappointing return for them. All right, our panel here in studio in Omagh is Colm O'Rourke, Joe Brolly and Tomás O'Shea. And Colm, looking at that first half, we have to make allowance for the weather conditions. It's very slippy underfoot because there have been showers here today. But nonetheless, both teams to me look very tentative. Like, they don't seem to be willing to get into the championship mode in this game so far.
I think you're right. I don't know whether it's the conditions, but like, good players excel in any conditions, and whether the black card has made a reluctance to make tackles. But the game is very flat. There seems to be a lack of passion about it, but I think the main reason is because Tyrone are almost in complete control. I would consider at this stage that this game is over, because Down are even worse than I thought they were going to be, and I think the pessimism surrounding Down from inside the county is shown to be well founded.
Yeah, Colm, if you took the penalty out of it, I mean, it's 5 points to 3 apart from that. Now I know that's a big if, but nonetheless, so Tyrone haven't exactly been sort of
they've only 2
points.
Away. They've only 2 points.
No, I know that, but they're very much in control of the game. The whole tempo of the game has been controlled by Tyrone.
It's only because Down are so bad.
Down have had 1 point from play, 3 points in total. You know, you go back a long way for a Down forward line to be as poor as this. I don't see any major improvement coming from them, because I think they just lacked a little bit of quality up front.
In actual fact, Joe, there has been some poor finishing on both sides in this match.
Well, Down have been following the Donegal template. The difference is that when Donegal attacked, the attack was purpose and was menace and confidence. The critical feature of a game plan like that is economy of finishing. If you're going to sit back on the ropes and you're going to absorb, as Down have done very well, they'll be very happy that Tyrone have only scored what they've scored. 2 points from play, okay, the penalty. But the critical feature is that when you break out, you nail every half chance. Accurate passing on the counter attack, crisp finishing, you know, so that you've got to convert your half chances. And then what happens is you're 2 or 3 points up, and the whole psychological thing about the blanket defence is to depress and frustrate. Now that they're sitting 5 points behind, they're sitting with a blanket defence. They've no other template. I mean, and their football has been only woeful. I mean, sometimes you think there are a lot better things you could be doing on a Sunday than sitting watching that stuff.
What do you make of it, Tomás?
I thought it was very dour, Michael. I thought it was very poor. It just reminds me of a National League game. There's no kind of spirit or people getting stuck into each other.
What do you put that down to? As Colm said, it might be a black card thing, but I mean, this is championship. I mean, somebody's going out of the Ulster Championship here.
Well, look, it's a poor game in terms of there's been a lot of turnovers. There's a lot of tackling going on around the middle of the field. They broke even mostly around the middle of the field. I just feel that Down have a bit more space, yet they don't have the players to kind of to get something out of it. Conor Lafferty is after going into full forward. Yeah. He's doing a bit better. He's winning ball, but they don't have the link-up players. They don't have the support players. The players that Donegal had coming at pace to give it off the shoulder. There's no bit of drive in them. On the other side, you have Tyrone, who have a lot of possession, but Down are playing a sweeper back there. It's hard to make any penetration. Kyle Coney's winning ball, but he's only got 1 point from play. I suppose, look, from play, open play, it's been a very, very poor match to watch, you know.
But Michael, I think anybody who...
Kevin McKernan's got possession. Now looking up. Driving it forward here. Same old trick, but again knocked out initially, only as far as Mark Poland. Then Colm Kavanagh challenges. Still in play. Not any longer. Line ball to Down, who look businesslike now. Mark Poland deep across here as far as Johnson. That's Jerome Johnson. Jerome Johnson this time upended as another penalty. And now what's the referee going to do here? In the first half he didn't give a black card. And you can see Niall Morgan, I think, saying to the bench, get the sub-goalkeeper ready.
I'm getting out of here.
Black carded. And it's going to be Mickey O'Neill from Clonoe, will be making his championship debut now, and will have most of the second half to play. And the referee, who's made DVDs for the GAA, and a very good one, about the black card, had no hesitation this time. But of course the talk afterwards will be about Conor McGinn. Why didn't he get a black card in the first half? Aidan Carr's got 2 goals in the championship already. This is what the game needs. Can Aidan Carr supply? He can. A goal coming after 41 minutes from the penalty. Both goals from penalties this afternoon, and now suddenly Down will feel there is new life breathed into this game. And
nearly the exact same position of Peter Hart put his penalty.
Prodded forward by McCurry. Hart back as far as Sean Kavanagh. Cutting through, stopped by Carr. That's a very good intervention. Lovely piece of handling that time by Carr. And people will say there is no tackle in Gaelic football. Well, that time we saw a lovely intervention by the centre half back, but it's lost again. And Kyle Cooney has picked it up, and Cooney boots it high and boots it over. He's got 2.
What a great score by Kyle Cooney there. He's been threatening to do that since the beginning of the game.
Mark Donnelly, very good link player, subtle use of possession. Sean Kavanagh trying to get away from Carr. Onto his left this time, right or left. Sean Kavanagh, tremendous. That's 3 points for the 30-year-old from Moy. He's indefatigable, this guy. Carried on here now with some tenacity by Aidan McCrory. Down into space towards Coney. Threw it off, I thought, to Stephen O'Neill. Here's O'Neill. There's McCrory. Is there a goal out here? There might be. There is. And it's Darren McCurry. Lovely goal. It was a beautiful team goal that time. 54 minutes are gone in the match. 2-9 to 1-5. Look at the build-up here. Was that Tyrone? I'm not quite sure, but anyway, it was worked on as far as Stephen O'Neill helped on and kept moving until McCurry beautifully dispatched it beyond Brendan McVeigh.
And it was actually that last pass that made it. He didn't give it to the nearer player, he gave it to the further player who had more room and a better spot to pick in the net.
So now at 2-9 to 1-5 and 55 minutes almost gone. A quarter of an hour to go. Tough ask on Down, has been all through this match. Carried on still, and it's squeezed in by Donald O'Hare. Another one. It's an amazing game, this. Almost hopeless in the first. No, it was hopeless in the first half, and now suddenly we're getting a whole load of good scores. I don't know how they got through. They managed to penetrate the Tyrone defence. It's been their Achilles heel, and as the goalkeeper came diving out, Donald O'Hare knocked it in a blistering shot. 2-9 to 2-5. Now they're beginning to win a lot of primary ball. Ryan Johnson, here he comes again. He's getting on the ball quite a lot. Beautifully in here as far as Laverty, dishing it off. Here's McGinn hitting, and McGinn scoring! A third goal. Conor McGinn in the 58th minute. First time he's ever scored a goal. And Mickey Hart is absolutely perplexed at this, I'm sure. Great run by McGinn, covered a lot of ground, finished decisively. 2-9 is 15 points, 3-5 is 14. Down or behind by 1. They've got 12 minutes to go, plus stoppage time as McKernan kicks it forward. In here as far as Conor Laverty, and Laverty has put it over the bar and the teams are level.
And I think it's fair to say the Ulster Championship has just begun, and this is what we expected from the beginning, but we're certainly getting in the last 10 or 12 minutes.
Now it's a case of having to take a second or two and keep cool heads, get the right shot on target if they can. Liam Doyle in that move, inside as far as Poland, hasn't scored so far. This would be a good time. It is a very good time. They're in front. It's a stunning game at Healy Park, where the away team Down has gone into the lead in the 61st minute by 3-7 to 2-9. Niall Madine to Benny Coulter. Kevin McKernan's available. Ahead of him to try and stop the attack, Ryan McKenna. Doesn't stop it. Benny Coulter instead. Benny kicking it over his left shoulder, as he's done so many times in a wonderful career, and Benny Coulter puts it over the bar to make it 3-8 to 2-9. They're 2 points in front. Conor Laverty in the corner. Nothing in the world that Conor Clark can do about it. Back in again towards Medine. More chances maybe, and again the referee has blown his whistle.
Some beautiful play there actually by Laverty and Medine. Great tight hand passing play leading to a free, and what could be an insurance score for Down.
And he's put it wide, he's missed it. Now will that be a big miss at the end? Or was it a let-off for Mickey Hart from which they'll be able to benefit eventually? And it's going to be 4 minutes of added time, I'm told. Justin McMahon as far as Peter Hart, so it's still there for the taking. Sean Kavanagh, he's given the leadership up to now, cutting through. Kavanagh dangerous, taken down rather cynically there. Wins the free kick.
He's going to receive a black card too.
And the black card duly given to Conor McGinn, so he will be replaced at the next break in play. There's 1 minute of the added time already used up, so with 3 minutes to go, Sean Kavanagh gets his 4th point. Tyrone one behind, trying to stay in the Ulster Championship. They don't want to go out at this stage. All the way down here as far as Stephen O'Neill. A block on it, and that ball's gone out over the sideline. Line ball ready to be taken. Maybe this is the last attack, and it's Stephen O'Neill who's ready to take it. Meanwhile,
just off camera, we've a foul.
So instead of a line ball, Tom, it's got to be a free kick.
It is, and 20 yards closer to the goal.
Sean Kavanagh once again to take it. 3-8 to... This has to go over. This one has gone over. Sean Kavanagh, not for the first time. Heroic for Tyrone, and they realise it. And it is all over at Healy Park after a titanic second half, where Tyrone went perilously close to going out of the Ulster Championship in the preliminary round, but somehow managed to hang on. Final score, it's Tyrone 2-11, down 3-8.
And obviously we'll replay next Saturday night, all to play for. I think our boys hopefully will take a bit of belief out of the second half performance. Felt that we weren't so good and disappointed with the first half performance, but certainly the second half I felt we put them on the back foot. And yeah, we're disappointed that we didn't nick a draw, but it's game on next week.
The weather got worse, the game got better. It was really exciting, and great credit to the players. It was a really good game of football the second half, and I think a bit of credit to Down and their management, because their substitutions at half time helped change the course of the game, and then when they got the goal they got a smell of blood. But I think the big turning point of the game for me was the fact that when Niall Morgan was sent off, all the Tyrone kickouts were sort of raffled, and I think Down started to get on top of the middle of the field. Benny Coulter certainly made a big impact, the two Johnsons, Liam Doyle coming on, but it was a ripper of a second half, and great credit to the players for the sort of performance in the conditions.
Joe?
Well, as soon as Down scored the penalty, and they put their backs into it, they stripped away Tyrone's facade. They exposed them for what they really are, which is a mediocre team. And thereafter you could see the problem with this novel Tyrone selection. I mean, they were in chaos defensively and in the attack. I mean, McCurry took the goal beautifully, but it was it was against their run of play at that stage. And I mean, Down could have scored 2 more goals. They're wide open at the back, and now the problem for Tyrone is that Down have the scent of blood in their nostrils for the replay. The other big features of the game were, as Colin says, first of all, the keeper being sent off made a huge difference. Perfectly proper black card. Benny Coulter at midfield, going there, instead of going into the forward line where he would have become frustrated and had difficulty getting on the ball, he totally controlled proceedings at the middle of the field. And then of course Conor Laverty at full forward, who tortured the Tyrone full back line, and the ease with which Down were able to break through to create goal chances. I mean, they scored 3 goals from play in the second half, is again illustrating to you why Tyrone are not at the level that they believe themselves to be at.
Let's have a look at that penalty again, Tomas, because as Joe and Colin alluded to, this was a crucial factor in the match, and of course also the sending off of Niall Morgan in it.
It was. I mean, I think the rule is he came out and your man had sidestepped him and he put out his leg, he tripped him. So it was It was a black card. I think it was a right decision. We were debating here, was it an actual red card? But he purposely tripped him. Your man had him rounded. But it was a huge difference. The kickouts afterwards weren't as fluid. Mickey O'Neill gave out a couple of bad kickouts that resulted in scores, and it was a big difference in the result. But we said at half time that Down weren't playing with any confidence. They came out in the second half, and that goal changed it around. They played with great character. They carried the ball very well going forward. You know, their hand passes were very slick in the conditions that were there, and they caused a lot of problems. We said that Tyrone were leaking goals. They leaked another 3 here again today. You know, and halfway through 10 minutes into the second half, I was actually saying to myself that they were doing well defensively, but then in all in 10 minutes it changed.
Down did show a lot of character, because when McCurry came back and scored that goal for Tyrone, you would thought to yourself, that's it now, that's the job wrapped.
Yes. Yeah, and then of course Down hit back, I think within 30 seconds.